Welcome in. All right. Sorry about that. So we are laying out some recoffs. So this is a 16-inch buck tool scroll saw. I actually just put Pegasus heads on it this morning. I've had these heads for a long time. It's about time that I get a refresher kit and replace the spring and the cam in there, but so I replaced this. This is the original one. So this is a very simplistic chuck. It does work well though. I have not had an issue with them, but I had this one lying around, so I'm like, might as well use it. So this is 5/8 inch thick cherry. Which is around 19 mil. So the patterns, we use blue painter's tape. So we put down a layer of blue painter's tape, then we use spray adhesive to glue the paper pattern to the top. This way I get a clean new pattern on every one. I used to have a template that I used to trace. This is easier to see. right, so we just cut a mortise, a through mortise. Just making sure everything fits together and everything is centered. All right, next up we have a 1/2 inch, which is what? $13 mil. As I drop my pencil. Why would I want a pencil? All right, we'll try that again. All right, take the pattern off. So this is a reverse tooth blade, and right now, at high dwell, it's a little bit too low. So I'm going to tighten this up. Now I think I'm high enough there. We'll do another cut. So what happened was the bottom teeth are facing the opposite direction, so you don't get this tear out. And I did get this tear out, so it wasn't working. So that's what a normal blade would look like. Hey Dion, how's it going? Welcome in. So it's like 7 a.m. I got a late start. I changed the chuck over, made coffee. Watched some TV. It's been a pretty exciting morning. So now we don't have that anymore. So the blades have to crack tight. Oh, yeah, that segmented bowl that I've been talking about. Let me go grab that. So originally, I was going to make this into a yarn bowl. This is my first segmented bowl I've ever made. So if I want a yarn bowl, I think I have to go one layer up and then have it come in a little tighter so it bowls in. But for basically the first real size bowl I've ever made, I just have linseed oil on it right now. I'm going to be buffing the outside today, so. Oh, it turned out. I mean, yarn bowls you want really super heavy, so that's why it's so thick here. Because the worst thing, if you get a little yarn bowl, you would set it down and then put your yarn in there, and then it would start moving when you start pulling on it. So yeah, this is almost 2 pounds. So chunky is the better. So the next one, yeah, this is a test. I made a little prototype test, and then this one. So the segments actually cut out on the CNC machine. Yes. So, they were about an inch, well, 3/4 of an inch thick when I glued them together. So yeah, so I cut out a bunch of rings. So there's 8 segments. So I cut out 2 different, this is cherry and maple. So I cut them and then I glued them together in little rings, and then I glued the rings together. Like I said, this is my first one, so there are imperfections in it, which is expected. So yeah, so you glue it all together. I used a solid base. So yeah, so I chucked it up on the lathe. Right here it was thicker, and that's where the chuck grabbed onto it, so I was able to turn it on the lathe that way. Originally, I set it up in coal jaws, which are these big jaws with like pegs sticking out when it was rough. So I was able to put this feature on there so I could chuck it up this way. But yeah. Oh, it's pretty sweet. Lots of work though. Lots of time. So we'll see how the next one is. I'm going to buff that up today. Should be all right. Oh, I'm always being spied on. Stupid Temu. Yeah, the problems with like the ones you would get from Temu or like Michaels, they're going to be kind of light. You know, there's a lot of 3D printed yarn bowls these days, and they're just too darn light. But, you know, there's a lot of people who make things that don't actually use them, so... I'm just way ahead of the curve, you know. Because I have good ideas. They're selling these spindles now, too. Yeah. So this one is Curly Maple. I think Amazon is definitely spying on me, but you know, I have the you know, I have Alexa all over my house, so she's constantly listening. So the ones that I'm making are slightly different design than the other ones. Yes. So I make some crescent-shaped ones, and these are more handlebar mustache-shaped ones. I mean, they can spy on me as much as they want to. I lead a very boring life. Right? It's like when you buy a car and you don't see many other cars like your car before you buy it, but after you buy it, everybody's driving the same vehicle you are. They're everywhere. Oh, I have some more recoffs here. So these are the same curly maple, but yeah, these are the crescent shaped ones. I need to replace the bottom thumb screw. Slipping a little. I replaced the top one this morning. I thought I had a pair left, so I didn't order. So I'm gonna have to order some new ones. There's been an influx of like top roll drop spindles that are made in India that are coming in. They look pretty, but they're not very balanced. This is a buck tool. This is a 16-inch buck tool scroll saw. So I just put the Pegasus clamps on it today. Not that they needed them, but I figured I had them, might as well use them. So we're kind of dialing those in today. Although they have mastered the ability to sit down. It seems like whenever I see videos from India and manufacturing, everybody's always sitting down. No safety, but they're sitting down. And it seems like whenever there's a video with the saw, the person's like missing at least one finger. So a lesson of safety was learned once. That being said, I've seen several people lose their fingers in machinery here in America. So it does happen. But then again, I'm cutting on a scroll saw at, you know, it's almost 7:30. Wonder what time my partner's gonna show up. I woke up. I woke up at like 4:45 this morning. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I might as well go to work. So I walked to work. Yeah, I don't think there's too much regulation. So here in the States, we have OSHA. Me being a sole proprietor, I do not deal with OSHA. I could be barefoot. Oh, yeah. They do dominate tech support. Do I have a piece per journal to stay profitable? Or do you just put in the hours? A little bit of both. I don't keep track piece per hour. I don't do that. I have done time studies in the past. But yeah, we do go off of formula as far as pricing goes. So when I first started making these, when you first start a business, you try to be competitive, so you have lower prices, because you're unknown. I've been making these full time for a little over 13 years. All 14 of us. So right now we're kind of in not really a lull. Why no employees? Because I'd have to raise my prices. Me and my partner, my girlfriend, we've been doing this together for a long time. My goal isn't to, sit behind a desk somewhere. My goal is to, pay my bills. I have not ordered the pen kits yet. It's on the list. All right, let's see. Got a couple big ones here. Oh yeah, the price of wood has gone up quite a bit. Especially imported exotic woods. I have not raised my prices though. I'm still okay. Ooh, that would be nice. Yeah, I really don't want to have a bunch of employees. That'd be the last thing I want. I might pick up an apprentice in a couple of years, but we'll see. Hey Sandy, yeah, we are making Turkish style drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. So I don't have one down here, but so they look like this, and then there's a shaft that comes up, and it's what came before the spinning wheel. Do you make custom pens? You have pen blanks. I really don't do a lot of custom stuff as far as like the pens go. I'll make batches of them. It's not really my focus. This is curly maple, but it's kind of, well, you can kind of see the stripes there. Once it's sanded and gets a finish on it, it'll pop. Ooh, I hear a Vicky, I believe. Yeah. Either there, somebody's broken into the shop, and I'm in my panic room in the basement. Yeah, so I did a batch of slimline pens. We haven't listed any of them yet. Yeah, she is here pretty early. This is like the normal time. So I made all these pens up, and then they're kind of table filler. We're going to put a couple online. If those sell, I'm going to use that money to buy the pen kits, the nicer pen kits. Yep, so today is Thursday, so it is packaging day for us. So we package twice a week. We do Mondays and Thursdays. The Turkish sausage was actually pretty good. It was missing something. I couldn't place my finger on it, and I think it was pork or beef was what was missing. It could have used a little more salt, but it was really good. It definitely showed promise. I mean, it was definitely better than just, ground turkey. Yeah, I think if we play with the recipe just a little bit, it'll be awesome. I used to make crochet hooks, but these kind of took over. Yeah, I'm a hooker myself. Give me a hook and a granny square will magically appear. So I'm just starting to work on making some yarn bowls. This was my first attempt at making a full-size yarn bowl. I decided I wanted to go up another layer and bring it in. So I want more of a... So if the ball of yarn picks up, it'll catch on the rim. So I'm going to do another one. Yeah, I used to turn the ergonomic crochet hooks with the big handles for people who use a knife grip. Kind of like a pearls. Yeah, so I think this is Vicky's attempt to wean me off red meat. We've cut way back on red meat, and we've been eating a lot more tofu and turkey and chicken. Hello? I love you. I made coffee. Yeah, meat is crazy expensive. Well, I figured, Tofu, it's like $2 for a pound, and it pretty much takes on any flavor you want to. So I've been playing around with stir fries and stuff, and it's not bad. It took Vicky a little while to get used to it because it does have that little bit of bitterness to it, you know. But yeah, yeah, the prices are not going down on that stuff. Yeah, you know, this will fit, a 4 ounce cake easily, but I'm gonna go up another layer. I think the diameter isn't too bad. It's you're not gonna have a sweater's worth in there, But you know, as far as the cake, one more layer I think would do it. And it's 2 pounds. This thing weighs almost 2 pounds. So, this is a big solid chunk, and I left the walls really, really thick. Um, I didn't cut the J into this one. I'm gonna do that on the next one. So we'll have the big J, the big yarn storage part, and then a couple holes to put the knitting needles through. But yeah, the segmented one actually turned out pretty good. So I've been playing around with that, and yeah, I think I should have some of those for Wisconsin sheep and wool this year. So we'll see how they go over. So the current configuration of my lathe, I can only turn a 12-inch diameter bowl. So I could spend the money. You can run the lathe outboard. So normally, let's say this is the lathe here, and you normally put things on, let's say, in this direction. Well, you can put an adapter on the back, and then there's a little um, base piece that clamps on that's lower, which gives you a larger thing. And then you can also use a stand on the outside, so you could take the little lathe that I have and turn really big things on it. But if the bolts take off, I'd probably end up having to buy a larger lathe, something with a little bit more weight to it. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, normally I'll be on the lathe as well. This is my little subterranean hideaway so I can work. My actual shop is upstairs. This is the basement. This is so I can work in the middle of the night and not piss off the neighbors. All right, let's see what we got here. I've got some minis you can cut out. So, yeah. Lots of that curly maple today, which is good. We're trying to use up the wood we have in stock before we buy more exotic woods, so. Yes, this is my spooky basement. We'll pretend that there's not a pentagram spray painted on the wall. Well, the best part is that, I don't feel like I'm alone, so that's good. One is the loneliest number. I will be right back. That wasn't so bad. Hey, that's not a big deal. I get it, man. I just stream like at really bizarre times, so. Schedules are for suckers. At least up to nothing wrong with that. It's early. It's early here. Uh-oh.
So, when you were testing, I don't know what you were testing because I can totally hear you upstairs. So,
Like
yeah.
super loud?
It's not super loud, but it's. I mean, I can hear you. It's not near as quiet as I thought it was going to be. So when you first tested it,
Well, the door was open
yeah,
too,
and
though.
so I shut the door and I sat at the desk.
Oh,
And,
it's
yeah.
still pretty loud.
I mean, I can totally hear it. She might be able to hear it a little bit upstairs.
Oh.
But it's okay. I mean, you're not here extremely early. But yeah, you might want to consider like 3 a.m. You might not want to be here in the middle
All
of the
right.
night.
Well, then what happened to our test?
I don't know. I don't know what you did, but yeah, I can totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it actually, because you're on this side, I can actually hear it. Like.
Well, you're sitting like almost directly above
Under
me.
you. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So,
Yeah, you are literally right here.
yeah. Yep.
I mean, you couldn't be
yeah,
any.
and so that's why I can totally hear you because I'm sitting right there. But
Well, actually, you're sitting over there, but yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. But no, you're fine. I just want to let you know. Holy moly, man.
Ooh. Sorry to hear about your son. Oh, that sucks. And cut himself. Cut his thumb.
Oh,
All right.
thanks. Awesome.
So I'm just working away down here.
Right?
I got about an hour in. Do you want to start packaging at like 9?
Sure.
Did you want to have breakfast at around 9?
Sure. I forgot the sausage.
You forgot the sausage. We were just talking about your sausage.
I know. And then I realized, shit, I forgot the sausage.
You know, you could hear me or what?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you love me?
Yeah.
Is there any coffee left?
Yeah.
Could you give me a cup? I'm sorry. I feel bad. The next time you're live streaming?
I can totally hear you because the door was open. So, I mean, I can hear you when the door's closed. So,
Yeah.
yeah. The next time what? The next time I'm live
The
streaming?
next time you're live streaming, I will get you coffee.
I refunded the partial shipping for Vicky's last order. I forgot.
Okay. Well, at least you remember now. Oh, thumbs suck. Could be worse, you know. It always could be worse. Hello, Raheem. Welcome in. So, if you guys are just joining us, we are cutting out Turkish-style drop spindles. So, I was sharpening one of the knives that I had when I dropped the file and the blade sliced into my thumb. Ouch. Owie, owie, owie. Thank you, honey.
You think we'll get the cats done?
You want me to get the cats done?
Just,
Okay.
so I can,
Okay.
what's those?
Okay. I'm gonna need a different blade.
Oh, you have to go upstairs and get it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
Do you want to talk to them?
Sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say, "Don't spill the coffee
Don't
that
spill
full.
the coffee.
Don't spill your coffee. I made it all the way down here without spilling it." I just talk to him.
Oh man,
He asked Dion about kangaroos.
dude. Dion is from Australia. He said to ask you about kangaroos. Well, that's awesome. Besides, it really. What have you been waiting for? Scott to cut his finger? I don't know. I'm trying to use context clues, so I have no idea.
Whose clues?
Well, no. Dion says I've been waiting for Scott to do something like that, but he keeps disappointing me. And I was using context clues. I'm like, what? Cut his finger?
Yes, they want me to. It's like watching a NASCAR. They're just waiting for me to get injured.
Right.
Crash! Crash! Oh, dude. Yeah, honey, the bowl really turned out quite nicely. Yeah, I kind of like it. One more layer high and make it more.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Was it a bug?
No, maybe some dust from your
Oh,
bowl.
that's fine.
A little bit of a little black speck.
There's a little black spot in my coffee today. Yeah, I keep doing
Yeah,
it.
there's a light there, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it. For it being your first bowl.
Did you see that? You heard that you made nice turkey sausage?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
No. Let me see.
See, I hear you made nice turkey sausage.
Yeah. I did. Absolutely. It
You
actually
have
turned out quite
close to
nice.
20 different blades. Yeah, I hear you. I couldn't even fathom how many different blades
Blades you
I
have, right? Yeah. Oh man, dude, why the hell did I lay out so many spindles?
Because you like spindles.
But then you keep cutting everything out. It's like I lay out more than the 12 a day, and you cut out all of them within a day.
That's okay.
So we'll have everything cut out and ready for sheep and wool within like 2 weeks, and then I'll have all that sanding to do.
Right.
So
Yep, so she wants me to cut out the cats. So we're going to cut out these. Now we're going to cut the outsides out and then come back with a smaller blade to cut out the cats.
yep.
Yep. So yeah, we got a number 7 blade on here. This is an Olsen precision ground tooth blade. Love you, honey. And then I've got a number 5 Pegasus blade here. And we also have a number 3 Olsen Mach Speed blade as well. That I grabbed just for down here. Yeah, number 7 is a finger cutter, yeah. The bigger the number, the bigger the teeth, the bigger the blade. You were sharpening the shank, you welded that one. Cool. It's made from a broken butter knife and a piece of bicycle chain. Hey, that'll work. Little inclusion there. Well, I would rather be cut with a sharp knife than a dull knife any day. Yes, some of those are pretty buff looking kangaroos. So let's see. You don't have a need. Says, how can you scroll without the wood getting lifted? I have the guard, or else my piece flies off the table. Dear kangaroos are deers that went to prison, sneaking stuff in with their pouches. I am putting slight pressure down all the time. So I'm using so this saw takes plain end blades. If you have a pin end blade saw, the blade itself is going to be a lot bigger. Like the teeth are going to be a lot bigger. And they could cause some chattering, that's for sure. That's the number 7. Yeah, you don't want to piss off a moose, that's for sure. Where I live is more deer, more white-tailed deer. We don't have a lot of bear here. Very seldom do you hear about bear. Up north, yeah, you get into the bear. You get up by northern Wisconsin into Michigan, and that's when you start getting into moose territory. Further up north, we have wolves. We reintroduced wolves to help take care of the deer population a little bit as well. So it's nice seeing a wolf from time to time. Up north, here's the Arctic. There you go. And you know, up north is like a 6-hour drive. Is pretty much putting you way up north from where I'm at. That'll put you into upper Michigan. And if we do have a bear sighting, they're black bears, so they're not huge. Hey Larry, how's it going? Yeah, the most dangerous thing that I deal with on a daily basis are Canadian gooses. Right by our house, there's a pond, and right now we have, I don't know, probably 8 pair of geese with all their babies. Their babies are getting rid of their yellow fluff right now, so they're getting big. You're not a hunter, but you have relatives that are. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same position. You have to control the population. Here, you know, we have a lot of deer and not a lot of predators for the deer. So even with hunting, we have problems with chronic wasting disease. So cobra chickens, that's pretty much what they are. I walk enough where I walk to work enough where I walk past them pretty much every day. So they basically they give me the nod, the stay the heck away from me nod, and I'm like, yep. You crochet and you've never used a spindle. Yep. Well, the nice thing about, spinning in general, whether it's on a spindle or a wheel, you get more control over your yarn, Don't get me wrong, I still knit and crochet with acrylic from time to time if, it depends on the project. I know my kids aren't going to take care of whatever I give them, so they get acrylic. I get alpaca. classic I see you, you see me. Actually, this morning there's a bachelor party by the pond. I swear to God, there's like 6 male mallard geese all together. 6 or 8, quite a few. No women. Just a lot of boyos running around. All right, so we're going to switch from a number 7 blade to a number 5 blade. And we got about an hour's worth of use out of this blade, so we're just going to bend it. So you can see that it bends that far. If you are wondering if your scroll saw blades are going bad, if you take them and if you touch them and they break, they're bad. You should be able to get somewhat of a bend out of them. All right, we're going to go down to a number 5. This is a Pegasus blade. So this one is a reverse tooth skip tooth. They're all getting their beaks done. There you go. So this is a skip tooth blade, where the other one was a double skip tooth, where you had 2 teeth and a gullet. These are 1 tooth and then a gullet. So the reason we're going to a smaller blade is because we're going to get more detail out of the smaller blade. So we're going to be cutting out the little cats. So the inside is going to be waist. So I want to keep the ear pointy. So I'm going to cut up to it, go back, and come in from the other side. So we'll zoom in here. I'll try to keep my fingers out of the way the best I can. And how about I put it in the correct hole? Hey, there we go. So when you're cutting something that has a face, a head, that's really, you have to nail that. If that's messed up a little bit, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Let's say the back is a little bit bigger or smaller, nobody's going to notice. So we're taking our time. Oh yeah. Detail is the key here, you know. Now I'm going to follow the pattern pretty exacting except for right here. I'm going to come up. Going to make this foot a little bit smaller. Come over and make this foot a little bit smaller as well. So I'm increasing this gap here just to give it a little bit more meat. Otherwise, I'm scared it's going to break. So from the back. So I'm just going to set the pattern on here. Set this piece down. Now you can see I can put it in. There we go. And then it goes all the way through. So we know that we're square. So we're not cutting at an angle. Yeah. and make it look easy. I've done it a couple times, right? So yeah, I want to keep that ear pointy. So come back. If I would just make the turn, it wouldn't have a point. Can we see my cat? We can't because I'm at the workshop. My cats are at home. I can show you a picture of my cats. Let's see here. Ooh. Found my senior picture. Look at that mullet. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, speaking of geese, we were in, I think we were in North Carolina, and this goose is nesting on top of a red lobster. All right, so this is Luna. I'm just saying it was a pretty sweet mullet, and it was before the term mullet was coined by the Beastie Boys. So yeah, that's Luna again, and then we got Jordy Bear. Apparently, I don't take pictures of Jordy. Yeah. Well, here's Jordy. He's pretending to be a log. He's doing a pretty good job. And that was college. So, yeah. A mullet and the Van Dyke. And if anybody knows who that is, you're amazing. Yeah. So there's the kitties together. Don't tell Brent Butt that I have a picture of his wife on my phone. Might be a little upset with me. That's when she discovered energy drinks on Corner Gas. Very underappreciated show. It taught me all about Canada before Letterkenny. That and Kids in the Hall. All right, we got 2 more of these to cut out. I'm gonna grab some coffee real quick. So scroll sawing has a lot of similarities with a sewing machine. Your cat just punched you in the nose. Take that. I just booped your snoot. Very similar feel, except for there's no feed dog, so you have to push the wood through. And there's no seam allowance. But other than that, it's pretty similar. Showed you who's boss. How come the blade doesn't break when you're twisting the wood? It's all feel. Like if this is a bigger blade, I would have to rotate it slower. But since it's a small blade, I'm not putting, when I'm spinning it, I'm not putting like pressure cutting. I'm kind of pushing pressure on the back of the blade. So I'm kind of spinning it on the back of the blade. That kind of makes sense. So yeah, this is a number 5 blade. So, you know, if I'd put like a number 3 or 1 or 2 on there, you know, I'd be able to spin it much faster. But it would cut slower too. This size blade is not really designed to cut this thick of material, so that's why we're kind of taking it slow. Yeah, practice, time, and experience. So I just, you know, I wanted to keep that corner, so I cut from both sides. Now I have this gap that I can set the blade into. So you see when I'm rotating, I'm not pushing. Well, if I would cut the ear and just go around the corner, it would be rounded over, and I want it to be a point. So having that point is something you could not do on a CNC machine because you use a round cutter, so it would be rounded. So having that point there proves that it wasn't made on a CNC machine. And I think it looks better. All right, we got one more to cut. Hey, it didn't break. It jumped out of the chuck on the bottom. So I'm going to have to replace that thumb screw. I'll order one today. I'll probably order half a dozen of them today. Oh, I was using the 5, not the 3. So let's go back to that. You are. Absolutely. Now, the main thing is you want them to, since you're doing two of the same thing, if you mess up one, you have to purposely mess up the other one so they match. All right, I'll come over here. Yeah, so I think I've got a newer thumb screw on my Pegasaw upstairs. So I might pilfer that for this. For the time being. At your high school, the bandsaw blade broke. And almost killed somebody. Shot off the side. Yeah, typically, when they break, running, but every once in a while you'll have one that'll shoot out. And depending on how big the bandsaw is, yeah. Nice and flat, nice and straight. So could I cut the outer parts out with this small blade? I could, but it'd be a lot harder. Since we're doing long arcs, it makes sense to use a bigger blade that doesn't give you as much wiggle. So I'm gonna call this blade still new, so I'm just gonna put it back because we really haven't used it very much. Now I've got some mystery blades here. So these came with a saw. It says number 5 on it. There's no way that's a number 5. So this is a double skip tooth. It is not a reverse tooth blade. So these came with, I bought a saw and they came with some blades. So these are magical mystery blades. We'll cut out a couple with this, but then we'll go back to the precision ground tooth blade. So we'll cut out some walnut. Oh, I bet. I think probably one of the worst injuries that I didn't see it, but I was working the day it happened. We had a person die in the press room. He got crushed by the machinery. Um, but we had a girl who was working on the driller. So basically, the driller had basically it was a drill press that had 3 bits, and if you'd had a magazine with holes in to put into a 3-ring binder, that's what that did. And she didn't have her hair tied back correctly, and she had a fan behind her, and she got pulled into this machine. So she basically got scalped. Yeah, she lived. Um, Needless to say, she never came back to work. So I'm not sure how much they ended up paying out on that. Yeah, am I okay? So at your high school, the band saw a band broke and almost killed somebody. They were immediately sent to the hospital, intensive surgery, and they were given close to $500,000. Yeah. Yeah. And that came right out of the taxpayer's wallet. If it was a public school. Private school. Okay. Ouch. Yeah. Machinery doesn't care. Guards on machinery are not only there to keep you out of the machine, it's also there to keep the machine from rapidly coming to visit you. So, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, stuff happens. I'm pretty sure in high school I had to sign a disclaimer and have my parents sign off on it as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to replace this bottom. Or I could just keep tightening it harder and harder. There we go. Oh, I'm like, wow, this does not. I thought this was walnut. I didn't look at it. I'm cutting. I'm like, okay, this is genuine mahogany. So it almost has like a peppery. A piece of wood got stuck in the saw. Well, what happened was this knob underneath is wearing out, so the blade keeps slipping a little bit. So I think I have a replacement upstairs that I can temporarily use. And I'm just continuing to cut this one for good measure. I did jump and mar it, so... Oh well, we're not getting that one. Honestly, I don't have... Oh, a piece of wood got stuck inside the saw. That makes sense. Yeah. So this is Purple Heart. So this is a mini. Normally minis are 2.5 inches wide. This one is 2. Yes, it's the color purple. Just like the movie. Yeah, so this will turn much darker purple with UV exposure. It's not my favorite wood to work with. It just burns really easily. So when you're sanding it, you gotta turn the sanders way down. You also have to keep the saw moving. You have to keep pressure against it. If you stop, it's going to scorch, and then you'll have like lines that you have to sand out. Let's see. I think there's much prettier woods, but people like Purple Heart, and I'm okay with that because Purple Heart is one of the least expensive exotic woods you can get. How are we doing on time here? Okay. Got another mini here. This one is Cherry. So the reason it's called Purple Heart, the heartwood is purple, and then the sapwood it's almost a white color. So, yeah, usually the The heartwood is a darker color, like black walnut. The heartwood is black. It's darker brown, and then the outside is much lighter. So there's yellow heart, there's purple heart, there's red heart. Now all those colors will fade over time with UV exposure. So if you look at like, you know, marquetry like tabletop where you have a whole bunch of different woods with different designs, it looks a lot like there's a lot of blacks in there, a lot of really dark woods, and that's not the way they originally would have been. If you would sand the surface of that, the bright colors would be there yet. So that's a normal size mini. So the minis come in either 5/8 of an inch thick, which this one is, or a 1/2 inch. Yeah, you know, as far as working in a factory setting, working around machinery, complicity is the biggest danger. I mean, new people tend not to get hurt because they're scared of the machine. Well, you get somebody who's been there a while, you get an operator who's been doing it a while, you know, rather than shutting the machine down to fix something, you can maybe do it on the fly, you know, and you get away with that like 100,000 times. But the 101st thousandth time you do it, you get bit. So. See how it fits. It's good. We're gonna live stream for another 11 minutes, 10 minutes. Then I gotta go package, run to the post office. All right. So these are cherry. This is a deco because it's got a kind of an Art Deco kind of shape to it. It does have internal cuts. So this makes it lighter. So when I design things, I tend to have, you know, a sci-fi kind of feel to them, whether it be like 1950 sci-fi or, you know, this is more of a Star Trek looking kind of thing. Oh, so the last time I went to the mill, I did get some Osage orange. My mill has not had Osage orange in years. Which seems silly. It grows down south in America. Texas has a lot of Osage orange. Or horse apple, if you want to call it that. Yep, gotta replace that. Is it a common wood? Down there it is. It's one of those woods that trees they don't like. It kind of grows. It tends to be like really twisted, and it's not their favorite tree. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they don't like it. It's a nuisance tree, kind of like how I don't like locust trees because they make such a mess, and they got thorns on them, and all right. What are those levers for? This lever here adds tension to the blade. So it's got a cam on it, so you bring it up and it adds tension. Rather than having to tighten it on the back. All right, so this is also cherry. Other things I'm building, I'm making Turkish drop spindles. I gotta replace that knob. Just go replace that knob. But the stream's almost done. We are making Turkish drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. That's all right. It's one of those niche items. So this is my day job. You know, I don't understand why these programs like the YouTube app, I don't understand why it doesn't let you add text to the top of the screen. Same with you know, TikTok or whatever. It make a lot of sense. I am not an illegal streetcar racer. My life is way too boring for that. Just an old guy who makes a living making little doodads. Alright. So I got the majority of the stuff cut out today. Got a bunch of like little minis to cut out yet. But alas, I need some breakfast, so I'm going to be calling it a stream. I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Normally I stream later in the day, but I know the last few days I've been kind of getting here early. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Be kind to people. There's already enough jerks on this planet.